identify yourself by name each time that you speak to comply with the virtual meeting law. As a state, all votes will be conducted by roll call to comply with the laws around virtual meetings. And Alana Keegan will be calling roll call at the time a vote is needed. 100% tell us on vacation. Well deserved. Yeah. We're ready. Okay. I'm going to call this meeting to order of the Triangle J Board of Delegates meeting for March 2022 at 6:00 p.m. And in a review of the agenda, just acknowledging if anyone had any changes they would like to suggest. If not, we'll move forward. They conduct the roll call.
We're just moving some microphones around for just a second.
We're good.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully everyone can hear me. So just a reminder for roll call, we are going to go by each community. When I say your local government name, just delegate and then alternate can say present. Delegate first. Aberdeen. Anger.
You're Bob Smith, or I see Bob Smith.
I do too.
Are we?
He took this hat.
We see you.
See you. We don't hear everyone for some reason.
Hold on, let me make
Sure,
sure.
thumbs up.
Try the source that's right above the where it says NPP5.
Indeed, what?
It was
Oh.
working.
It was just.
Yeah, we heard Commissioner.
Let's try it again. Mr. Smith, can you try again?
He's muted, I think.
Yeah, let's see if somebody else, see if we can hear this virtual.
Apex.
Red Gant.
I can hear it, yeah.
Yeah.
Archer Lodge. Benson.
Uh-oh.
Gary Medlin, the beautiful town of Benson.
No, it's his
Hi, Mayor.
side.
Now we're good.
Maybe Bob.
Bob Smith.
Broadway. Harry. Chapel Hill. Chatham County. Clayton. Durham, City of Durham.
Deidreana Freeman, present.
Durham County. Fuquay-Varina. Garner.
Ken Marshburn, present.
Thank you. Goldston. Hillsborough. Holly Springs.
Tim Forrest, Holly Springs.
Johnson County.
Butch Lauder, Johnston County here.
Hey, Butch.
Thank you.
Hey.
Kenley. Nightdale.
Jessica Day, present for Nightdale.
Thank you. Lee County.
Bill Carver, present.
Thank you very much. Micro. Moore County. Morrisville.
Steve Rao, the shy and bashful Steve Rao. I'm here. Did you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you. I just can't hear them anymore.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Well, they must have lost the stream, but I'm here.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, this is Steve Rao. I was a yes to your question. I'm here today. And
Awesome. We got you. Pinehurst,
Jeff Morgan, Pinehurst, present.
Orange County. I'm just going backwards because you can hear me. Okay. Pittsburgh, Princeton, Raleigh, Robbins, Rolesville, Sanford.
Rebecca Salmon, City of Sanford, present.
Thank you. Selma. Siler City. Smithfield.
Present, Andy Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. Southern Pines. Bass. Wake County.
Susan Evans, present.
Thank you. Wake Forest.
Chad Siri, present.
Wendell.
Joe DeLoach, Wendell, I am here.
Thank you. Whispering Pines.
Linda
Wilson's
Vandercook,
Mills.
Whispering Pines.
Sorry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wilson's Mills. Zebulon. And we've got Rolesville coming in. Is there anyone else that I've missed that I did not count in roll call?
Thomasville, Broadway.
Thank you.
There's an Amber on, an Amber alert. Yeah. About the vibration. I was like, what?
We have quorum.
Thank you. Wow. Now that we have a quorum, we can review the agenda.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. But is the goal to try to get people to meet in person, or it just doesn't matter?
We'd love to have you in person, so we're glad you're here.
Oh, okay.
I'd love to have you in person as well, but you know, what works for you?
Okay, I wasn't sure. Well, maybe I was supposed to show up and.
Oh, the food's better in person.
It was better if there's a little.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
first dinner.
Yeah.
Want to go?
It's really good.
You felt so bad.
Just for you, just so you folks on the line know, it's really, really good.
Plenty of leftovers. I'm sorry to interrupt. Thank
No,
you.
you're okay. Thank you. If there aren't any changes to the agenda, I'm going to move forward to presentations and recognitions and an introduction of new TJ Cog staff, turning it over to Jenny Hensley.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So the staff we're introducing tonight, they've actually been with us for probably several months now. We just try to break it up so that you guys don't have to meet all our July 1 hires at the same time. So with that, I'm going to give it to Elena Keegan to introduce her staff member. Oh, sorry. Maya to introduce her staff member, and then we'll give it to Elena.
Thanks, Jenny. So thank you, everyone. My name is Maya. I'm with the Environment and Resilience team. And today I'm going to pass it off to Taylor to introduce herself. Taylor Weddington is our AmeriCorps service member. with the Clean Water Education Partnership. And as Jenny mentioned, she actually started back in September. We've had so many people coming on board that we're just now introducing her. I think most folks know QUEP, but the Clean Water Education Partnership has been facilitated by TJCOG for about 25 years for a lot of local governments, both inside and outside the TJCOG region, providing education about stormwater pollution. For just the last 4 years, we've had an AmeriCorps service member doing in-person education as part of this program. So Taylor's done a great job so far in helping expand the reach of stormwater staff in the 42 local governments that we currently serve. I will go ahead and pass it off to her and mute myself.
Thanks, Maya. Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor. I'm the Stormwater Education Coordinator. So I graduated from UNCW with a Bachelor in Science and Environmental Science this past May. And before that, I had some experience working with the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality as a water quality outreach intern. And then while I was at UNCW, I was a research assistant at the Benthic Ecology Lab. So I have a lot of water background. So what I've kind of been working on in QUEP is coordinating with local governments, a lot of staff members that are in the stormwater divisions for conducting education, direct education about stormwater and water quality. We're also doing Creek Week this week, and I'm sure many of you guys are involved in that as well, or your areas are involved in Creek Week. So I've been facilitating that. And then I'm also managing QUEP's online presence through social media and our website. And overall, just doing lots of in-person and virtual outreach to get the word out about stormwater runoff and how it affects our water quality. A little bit about me. So I like to jog. This I made in August, so maybe not as much right now, but I do like to thrift and travel when I can. I was able to study abroad last year in Peru, studying sustainable water resource management. So there's just a couple pictures from there. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna, if it's okay, I want to jump in just for a minute because I just learned today, Taylor, you're not sharing everything about yourself. So I understand that you've just been accepted to graduate school in Denmark, right?
Yes, I was. Yeah. So yeah, I got accepted 2 days ago for a graduate program in Denmark in geography and geoinformatics. So kind of looking at water resources from a geography point of view. So yeah, I'm really excited moving to Denmark.
Congratulations.
You should be excited. We're really happy for you. Again, she'll finish up her time with the AmeriCorps program and then head off to Denmark. So we're excited to have that happening for you, Taylor, and we appreciate the good work that you're doing. I also wanted to, where's Maya? I see Maya. Yeah, there's Maya. Unfortunately, Maya is going to be leaving us. So we found out about a week ago that Maya's decided to leave the COG. And I just wanted to, since Maya was here and everybody was here, thank Maya for all her good work on water resources and QUEP, Clean Water Education Partnership, and a lot of other things. Maya's very dedicated and very passionate about the work that she does. And that passion really shows through in the quality of her work and how people sort of are engaged by the way she approaches her work. So Maya, thank you on behalf of the COG for all the wonderful work that you've done. We're going to miss you, but happy for your future and know you won't be a stranger.
Thank you so much, Lee. That means a lot.
All right. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Did that. Now I will give it to Elena to introduce her new management analyst, new-ish
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think he would think of himself as new anymore. I'm very excited to introduce Andrew. He is a new-ish member of the member support and strategy team. And he primarily works on a couple of different things. I guess he'll tell you about that. We're really excited to have him. He graduated from the Duke Public Policy School and came here right after graduating. And he's just been a great addition to the team, working on grants and American Rescue Plan and a range of other things. So I will turn it over to Andrew to talk about himself.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrew McGinnon. Like I said, I graduated, or like Elena said, I graduated from the Masters of Public Policy School last spring, and excited to be with you all today. So I graduated from the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, with an economics degree. Shortly thereafter, went to the Peace Corps, where I did agroforestry at the Republic of Guinea, which is in West Africa. After coming back, I worked for the bank, TCF Bank. I'm doing data analytics as I prepared for graduate school, where I did public policy degree. Fell in love with the area and ended up sticking around and finding local government as my place here. Next slide. Yeah. So I've been working on a lot of things, and this is a little outdated from when I made it 5.5-ish months ago, but I'm a staff. That's okay. I'm a staff contact for the grant assistance program communities that are listed there. I've been working on improving data and metrics for the grant assistance program, and so I've been managing our grant database that many of our communities use. This is where and also the dashboards that we communicate to them with. So that's how we keep track of all of the grant opportunities that show up at the federal, state, and foundation level. Also working in public workforce initiatives, helping out with that, as well as the ARPA assistance program. So lots of on my plate and more every day. In my free time, I'm a big rock climber. It's actually one of the big things that I fell in love with here in North Carolina. That picture's of me down between Asheville and Charlotte, rock climbing outside. I also enjoy playing guitar and volunteering. I spend a lot of time at a urban farm here in Durham, as well as for my church and other great nonprofits in the area. So really excited to meet you all and excited to continue working with you.
Thank you, Andrew. And we'll have we still have some more new staff that we will introduce you guys to, the newish staff in the next board meeting as well.
That's cool. Thank you. Nice to introduce you both to the board. And we're moving forward to the FY24 NCDOT Transportation Demand Net Management Program Resolution, and turning it over to Sean Flannery.
Yes, thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully this should take no more than a minute or two, because the next agenda item, I promise, is much more exciting. Although my colleagues and I at Triangle J might argue that transportation demand management is just as exciting, if not just a little less. This is our 16th year going after NCDOT integrated mobility funds for transportation demand management. This is a program resolution that is a required proposal document. So again, not very exciting at all. But this is the 16th year of the program, working to reduce the growth in vehicle miles traveled in the region, working with major employers. We have over 14 partners looking towards the new fiscal year of fiscal year 2024, supporting over 38 individual positions through this regional initiative as part of that effort. Just a little bit of statistics here from our previous fiscal year impact report, which you can find on tjcog.org's transportation demand management page, which is called the Triangle Transportation Choices Program. In the previous fiscal year, the effort reduced over 5.1 million vehicle mile trips, over 2.5 million in greenhouse gas emissions, 64 million commute miles were reduced. Over 51,000 alternative commuters were supported through the efforts, and over 49 million pounds of greenhouse gas emissions were reduced. This year, we are requesting $138,702,000 for our administrative work, and a little over $601K for those partners that I mentioned around the region, ranging from Go Triangle to Go Raleigh, to the city of Durham, the major universities, and several other partners. So I believe this is on the consent agenda.
Thank you. And moving to the next presentation from Alana Keegan, the rebrand and charter agreement.
Yeah, and I don't know, Lee, if you want to start.
Sure, I'll be happy to. We're really excited to bring this to you this evening. And for some of you, I know this is probably the second or third time you've heard this, and I apologize for that. But we want to make sure that we sort of brought it through the governance chain up to the board. With this year's budget, the board authorized staff to move forward with a rebranding effort. We engaged a company out of Carborough, a small company out of Carborough called Carborough Creative, to work with us on the rebranding. And I won't sort of tip my hat yet to the fun part. But what I would say is this has really been really exciting to do. And it's been nice to get buy-in on the name from first our board officers and the rebrand and the new name. And then we engaged our previous chairs of the board of delegates and had unanimous agreement on moving forward with the name at that level. Last month, we presented this to our executive committee, or to your executive committee, and received unanimous approval to move this forward to the board for consideration. I think the time is now for this new brand. The organization continues to grow, and we're on the cusp of a new strategic plan. We're getting ready to welcome 11 new employees with the Durham Chapel Hill Carborough MPO. We're expanding and renovating the space, which I'll talk to you about a little bit later. And our footprint may not always be exactly what it is today. There have been conversations that maybe at some point in the future, the footprint of this region grows. And so I think as you hear more about this, I think it captures the essence of our history. It's inclusive of the entire region. And it really, I think, is innovative and really captures the wonderful energy that's here, that's created by you as a board and carried out by our just awesome staff. So I'm excited about it. I might be a little biased, but I'm excited about it. I certainly recommend to the board that you endorse this and authorize us to move forward with the charter. So if I haven't stolen too much of Elena's thunder, and credit to Elena and her team for a lot of great work on getting this moving forward. So Elena, I'll turn it over to you for the more fun stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll say this is the first time we're bringing the new PowerPoint for the brand to the board. So very excited. This is a sneak peek before I show more. So Lee talked about the process a little bit, and I'll just highlight again, just so that you have an understanding for those that may not have been on the board over the past year. So this was originally a process that was approved in the budget last May. We dedicated funding to do this rebrand. We went through an RFP process for branding consultants and asked them to do the following: propose a process that would provide us with a new name and new logo, new brand standards and usage guidelines that could be provided to our staff and to you as board members, and a complete rebranding campaign strategy. And we selected Carborough Creative, which, as Lee mentioned, is out of Carborough, which is why they're named Carborough Creative. And they did a complete brand audit of our organization, which was simultaneously done at the same time as the strategic planning process. So they used a lot of the information from our strategic planning process to guide what they recommended. We did a lot of interviews with stakeholders at that time that they used for this process as well. And then over the next few months, they worked with our team internally to develop the 3 items that we asked them to provide us. These were presented, as Lee said, to the board officers, the past chairs of the board, And that was a unanimous sort of approval from that group or support. And then we presented earlier this month to the executive committee, who unanimously sort of approved it, before all of you today. And I'll talk a little bit about it more, but the way that we formally change our name is through the charter. And so that's why we're asking you to approve a charter revision. So this is our new name and our new logo, Central Pines Regional Council. And so you can see on the left, that's our formal logo that includes both the new name and the logo that's sort of integrated within it. And then on the right is the pine cone, which is our standalone logo that is being presented. So I'll just pause for a second so everyone can see. I promise there's more slides, more information. So I wanted to share a little bit of background. We actually used to have a video from our brand consultants that talked about this, but a lot of you have seen that video, and I didn't want to make you all sit through it again. So this is my approach at explaining how they came up with this, because they really did a fabulous job. So Central Pines really came out of, a part of it is geographical. So obviously central is describing our region. Pines is related to the pine tree. And so it's really a nod to the pine tree, which is the state tree of North Carolina. They actually did a lot of research because we gave them, some background saying we need a name that is different than what we have today. And we hope you can find something. We don't know what it's going to be. And they did a ton of research and they came up with pine. And they were really excited to share with us, it's connected to our history. So it's why we're the Tar Heel state. No, not saying that we're supporting the Tar Heels. And but it's related to tar. And it is a main source of construction lumber. So it's sort of a nod to the past of our state. It's how we became a Tar Heel state, but it's also one of the main, things that connects our region and our growth today. It's also connected to our organization's purpose. So the pine tree is very adaptable. You see it everywhere in the state of North Carolina. And we think that sort of is a nice nod to the fact that we work in Moore County with more sandy soil and Raleigh with clay, and the tree can do the same thing. And then our logo is designed the way that it is to provide a nod to the triangle. We obviously still represent the triangle, although we also represent more than the traditional concept of the triangle. And so you can see in the pine cone, each side is 7 triangles.
Or 7 counties.
For 7 counties, thank you. So 7 counties, 7 triangles, and it's also the blue and then the colored are meant to sort of be reflective of the fact that we represent both urban and rural. It sort of is the dichotomy of that sort of past and present. This is the brand purpose that they provided for us. So I don't know if any board members have struggled with this. I know some of our staff have. If someone asks you in one sentence to describe what Triangle J does, you may take a long time to come up with that answer. And so one of the things we'd asked our branding consultant to come up with was a one sentence that anyone could use to describe our work. And that is what they provided here. CPRC is a resource and support hub for local governments, community members, and partners in Central North Carolina.
Did you see the comment there?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured some of the Moore County folks.
Oh, I didn't see the comment.
Pinehurst approved.
Oh, yeah, I know. We do have some pines across the region. Johnson County too.
Johnson County too.
Yeah. And this is just some more sort of, it's called a mood board. It just shows you kind of what this would look like in actual branding materials. So you can see more about our logo and how it will look. Mood board. We also are really trying to incorporate triangle into a lot of the design elements so that we don't really lose that. This is more, I just thought this is pretty. And this is the implementation timeline. So you can see right now we're at the board announcement. We already presented this to our staff. We really wanted that our entire organization to be aware of the changes, especially since there will be a lot of expectations on them to help us with a rollout. And once we've had this announcement, the next step would be to adopt the charter tonight, and then move forward with actually bringing the charter amendment to all of your boards. So for anyone that has been around since we've made an amendment to the charter, we require 2/3 of our local governments to approve an amendment to our charter anytime we make that change. And so that would be our next step before we really move forward with any official rollout. And that's sort of the next step. So I'm happy to take questions just for everyone's awareness. Tonight is really consideration and adoption of the charter amendment. And then over the next several months, we would be asking you and offering to come to your board to discuss the charter change and have your board adopt it. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just would add just a couple other things. First of all, we would get a lot of questions about what does the J mean? And so the J, and just to reinforce, the J is our state designated letter. And so that was a pretty easy call, that the J really doesn't need to be in the name and what describes us. And you know, thinking about taking triangle out was not an easy decision, but I think it's the right decision. Not because we don't represent the triangle, but there's been a couple things that keep coming to me. One, I feel like as we try to really distinguish ourselves across our entire region, we sometimes get lost with and confused, quite frankly, with the myriad of other organizations that are doing good work and have triangle in their name. And then the other thing is that and I heard this, it was sort of surprising, not surprising, but interesting, as we've talked to folks holistically in the region, where folks have said, I didn't really understand why it was called triangle, not because our region doesn't identify with that, but, you know, some people view triangle as strictly Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and the original sort of connotation with the Research Triangle Park. And so I felt like, and I've heard from others that they appreciate that we're trying to be inclusive. And when you go through something like this, you're never going to have 100%, you know, always with a logo or brand change, are going to be individuals that are not going to be completely on board. And I get that. And we are, but I feel good that we've tried to take a lot of input and be very thoughtful about it. And I'm excited about it. So, and I appreciate Elena's work again. And yeah, happy to answer any questions. Ms. Medley, I know you've got your hand up. Yes, ma'am.
Is this the first name change? Is it?
No, ma'am. No, well, I mean, so we were originally the Research Triangle Park Planning Commission. When we became, and we weren't a COG, when COGs were created, we were named the Triangle J Council of Governments. And so, yes, as a COG, this is our first name change, but as an actual organization, it's not.
So you got a big party for the change?
That's our plan.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah. So, and this ties in with the renovations here. So the timing's good because when we do the renovations, we want to make sure that the brand is represented well in the renovations. So we've already been talking to the architects about how to incorporate the brand. We're also going to make sure that we honor the brand, our current brand. There are pieces around the office that have that logo that we want to make sure to put. We're thinking about having a single award wall that consolidates all the awards the organization has gotten over its history, and making sure that there's some things there that, you know, where Triangle J is recognized. And maybe that's time. There's some other things too. A coffee cup and a pint glass, you know, you're going to put on there just to really give a nod. So great question, Ms. Medley.
Yeah. Any other questions? I will just add that I think the Central Pine Regional Council does have a great ring to it. And I do like the CPRC, and I think folks will be able to follow it with a little bit more context, especially since we aren't just the triangle and we have been representing beyond the triangle for a while. And so just making sure we encompass the entire region. I think we're moving in the right direction, and I'm very supportive of this moving forward.
And if I could, Madam Chair, just one other piece of logistical. If the board adopts this evening, I'm just doing the math. We'll have to have at least 32 of our local government boards approve the charter revision in order for it to actually be official. And so we'll be beginning to reach out to you all, assuming this passes this evening, to schedule those. And so obviously this will be contingent on at least 32 of our member governments approving the charter amendments. And then once we do that, we would start the official rollout. So that charter, there's a copy of the charter amendment in your packet. The name change is the big substantive change. The other substantive change in the charter amendment that I wanted to draw your attention to, in the charter, it dictates that I'm to get a recommended budget to the local government members no later than April the 15th. That is really very early for the way we get information from the state. We don't even get our own health insurance numbers sometimes to like the 2nd or 3rd of April. The intent of that, I think, was really to make sure that we're communicating to the members if there are going to be any proposed changes to the member dues so that you all can plan your budgets. And so I've recommended a change in the charter that we notify members by April 15th of the recommended dues rate, but that the actual budget doesn't have to be submitted until the 15th of May. And that gives us more time to make sure the budget's correct, gives you the information that you need for your own budget, and I make our finance staff a little more happy because they're not having to scramble over a day to put together numbers. So that's the only other substantive change in the document. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. There aren't any questions. I'll continue forward. And it looks like we're to the consent agenda. And just asking if anyone would like to remove any item from the consent agenda to be considered after. If not, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which would include.
Dejanna, this is Kathleen Ferguson. I did have a question about one of the items that's in the consent agenda. I think it's in the consent, and pardon me, I saw it. But and it's a question for Lee.
I will say, Kathleen, you are breaking up. If you want to put your question in the chat. Mind. It might be a little bit easier.
I will put in the chat.
Do you want to?
And then we can answer.
Do we need to pull that item?
If you could say which item.
I want to make sure I answer it before you vote. Just holding on for a minute so we can get Kathleen's question.
I'm glad you made it home, Butch.
My dog's trying to figure out why I'm not taking him for a walk.
I think it's specific to the person. Like pulling in the MPO staff.
So, but you have the.
Yeah, so Kathleen, to your question, grant invocation for past organizations, that for any past org, only public or nonprofit? Thank you for the question, Kathleen. So Kathleen's referring to the personnel policy amendment that would allow me to have a little bit of discretion to for somebody that maybe is coming in at a level where they've had a lot of experience, for me to be able to have some flexibility in approving the accrual of vacation. The way it's written, it would give me discretion on a case-by-case basis. I would say the way I would interpret that right now is it would probably be for a hard to recruit position or maybe a leadership position where somebody has quite a bit of experience, probably from a local government. It probably also could be a nonprofit. We do get some nonprofit folks that have specific experience. But I would imagine it would be a very limited number of individuals and would be used as a tool to sort of close the deal rather than just something we would do as a matter of course. And we're bringing DCHC in right now, so I do need that authority. And y'all could, if you don't want, if the board did not want to grant this, you could also just grant me specific authority. We need to make sure we bring DCHC in whole and allow those employees to accrue at the rates they were accruing at the city of Durham. So thanks for the clarification. Thank you, ma'am.
It's a great question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for spell it out.
Absolutely.
And if there aren't any other questions and no items pulled from the agenda, I will take a motion on Budget Amendment 8, FY 2024 NCDOT Demand Management TDM Program Resolution, approval of the charter amendments and authorization to send to member governments, and the personnel policy amendment.
Jeff Morgan, Pinehurst, I have a motion to approve.
Thank you.
No, I was just gonna say, did you want them all together in one motion? I guess we do, yeah.
Yes,
I'll second it. I believe you, yeah.
I appreciate that. And Mayor Marsh. All in, well, sorry, let's say.
Yeah,
Roll call vote.
unfortunately. Okay, so for roll call, I don't think we have any alternates and delegates, but only one vote per community. So I will go by your jurisdiction and just, if the delegate is here, make a vote. If not, the alternate can. Aberdeen. Anger. Oh, you're speaking, but I can't hear you for some reason, Mayor.
He's giving a thumbs up.
Okay, we'll count. Apex,
Aye.
Archer Lodge. Benson, thank you. Broadway,
Broadway.
Cameron. Scarborough. Carthage. Perry. Chapel Hill. Chatham County. Clayton. City of Durham.
These you freak. Aye.
Durham County.
Heidi Carter, aye.
Thank you. Fuquay Varina. Garner.
Garner's aye.
Goldston. Hillsborough.
I don't know if you can hear me or see me, but I'm I, Kathleen Ferguson.
We got you. Thank you. Holly Springs.
You have to drop off, sorry. He
Oh.
was having technical difficulty.
Okay. Johnson County.
Butch Lauder, Johnston County, aye.
Thank you. Kenley. Nightdale.
Nightdale, aye.
Thank you. Lee County.
Bill Carver, aye.
Micro. Moore County. Morrisville.
Aye.
Orange County. Pine Level. Pinehurst.
Jeff Morgan, Pinehurst, aye.
Thank you. Pittsburgh. Princeton. Raleigh. Robbins. Roseville. Sanford.
Sanford, aye.
Selma, Siler City, Smithfield,
Andy Moore, aye.
thank you. Southern Pines, Bass, Wake County,
Susan Evans, aye.
thank you. Wake Forest,
Chad Sterry, Wake Forest, aye.
Wendell,
Joe Deloach, Wendell, aye.
Whispering Pines,
Linda Vandercook, Whispering Pines, aye.
thank you. Wilson's Mills, and Zebulon. Is there anyone that I missed? Okay, passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. And we're going to move to our executive director's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, I'll make this pretty quick. Have a sort of quick meeting tonight. I know everybody's busy. First thing is I just want to thank staff and everybody else that's been working really hard. I think I mentioned this maybe at the executive committee, but we've got a lot going on. There's a lot of exciting things happening, but it's also making things really busy. Staff was here today packing. We're excited about the renovation. Just a real quick update on that. We are pretty close to having what they call 75% architectural plans done for the renovation. Again, as a reminder, we're going to be staying here. We're actually going to be combining the suite 110, which is this one, with suite 140, which is next door. And also taking on suite 130, which is immediately on your right when you come in. That will become our largest meeting room that will be able to seat about 100 people at round tables. It'll also have a boardroom. So we're really excited about this being the central sort of convening spot for local government members. See what I did there? Central. We're just really excited about what's happening. We will, I think, have one more board meeting in this room.
Yes.
One more board meeting in this room. Everything will pretty much be cleared out except this room at that point. We'll be moving into that front suite as our temporary space while they do this renovation. And then summertime, we'll move in here and they'll start on the front. So working on furnishings right now, working on technology and AV. So doing that, obviously working on partnering with the city of Durham and DCHC on bringing over the Durham Chapel Hill Carrboro MPO. Really appreciate all the cooperation around all of that. And then obviously implementing a rebrand is on our plate. We're also really pleased to be continuing to work with many local governments in a lot of different ways. And we appreciate the opportunity to do that for you. So just there's a lot going on. Want to thank Lindsay and Elaine are here. They went to Washington, D.C. along with myself last week for the NATO policy conference. We actually were able to have meetings. We had a sort of a joint brainstorming meeting, just talking about regional issues with Congresswoman Ross Foushee and Congressman Nichols' staff. So that was good. We also we focused a little more on agency visits. So we actually met with U.S. Department of Energy. met with U.S. Department of Transportation, met with EPA, and had very good meetings with them. Also met with Jim McCluskey, who is the liaison for Governor Cooper in Washington, D.C., had very good discussions with him about a variety of topics, including the new Southeast Crescent, which is like the Appalachian Regional Commission, which is beginning to be stood on its feet for states in the South that are not part of ARC. So more to come on that. So very productive few days in DC. So thanks again for the support, and back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And for the chair's report, I will have a full hour presentation. No, of course not. Definitely not me. I just wanted to really just take a few minutes and just to really say thank you to staff again and again and again. I can't say enough about Jenny's support and Lana's support and Chantel. I know that there's a lot of moving pieces to more than, as Lee just mentioned, to do the rebranding, trying to get her, a whole renovation. I'm getting renovation in my house, so I'm living this experience. But I think I do want to just say that it takes a team, and I really appreciate the team that Lee has put together. I know over the last few years that I've been on this board, there's been a lot of changes, including a whole pandemic. And I feel like we're landing. We're finally getting into a groove, and the team is really rocking, so much so that Lee can take off a meeting, which I think is attributable to you all. And I just wanted to really just take a moment and just really say thank you. So that's first. And then I also wanted to just really just center this Central Pines Regional Council that Carborough Creative came up with. I want to say that these young ladies really knocked it out of the park. And if you haven't seen the YouTube video, I'm sure that they can share the link so that you can see it, because it is really a very thoughtful experience that they went through to come up with this actual name and storyline and vision purpose that I think will live for at least a few decades. And I hope to see it grow and expand even further. I really want to see all the cities and towns inside of all of these counties covered. And I offered to visit some of them. I'm going to hope that I get on that Benson trip and finally get out there to see our buddy Jerry out there. But I really just want to say, I'm excited that this is all happening in the year that I'm chairing. I can't take any credit because I think Kathleen did this all. And
I wish I could take all the credit, but
this is exciting, and I am looking forward to the party. There will be full on DJ blasting music, live band and everything.
Andrew could play the guitar.
But I also will be in DC next week. And so I do want to challenge anyone. I think the county commissioners have already gone, but the municipals who are going with the League of Cities, I do want to encourage you to just take a look at the legislative agendas for the COG and make sure you take that with you. I probably should have said that last month too, but better late than never. So we've got work to do, and I know that our cities need the support. So I'm really excited about all the staff. I have noticed there's some other staff that I've been meeting by report, so to speak, in my council meetings. It's so interesting, but it's very helpful. And I do think that there are many issues that are arising that will need more support on, and hopefully the merger between the MPO and the COG will be even more intertangled, and will create a really supportive planning organization and and beyond. So like, you know, when you start to look at all the departments within a city or a county, there's a resource for everything. And so I just can't stop saying how excited I am. So I will leave it at that and say thank you. This should be a really short meeting. I am going to turn this over to you all around the region. And as we have done in the past, we're going to popcorn with the folks in the room first. If they have anything they would like to share that's going on in your city, town, or county. If not, we'll go to those folks online. I know Butch has got something going on out there. Those cows.
I do want to say something about that. We have so much, but I don't think we're the only ones. It's just so much construction and so many builders and developers are like scratching at our door.
I really want folks to hear you.
Huh?
I really want them to hear you.
Oh. Yeah. Oh,
They can, just we'll move it closer to you.
oh,
Yeah,
I can come over there.
closer.
Yeah. Then I'm just gonna get me something to drink. So, thank you. So what I was saying is that I know for all of us, we're all growing and we're all suffering. I'm gonna assume the growing pains, but for Roseville, it's so different because we're still, you know, we are that bedroom community that a lot of our citizens want us to continue to be. But with all the building that we have going on, I'm gonna just say personally, I moved to Roseville, 3,100 people. Now we're already over 10,000 people. And I think we have over 3,000 approved developments already. So it was really funny when I mentioned this in another meeting, and a school board member said to us, it would be nice if Roseville could slow down so we can catch up with our schools. But, you know, I know that's a problem for everybody, but for us, that's what our thing is now, just trying to be prepared and get in front of as best we can to all the new development that's taking place. But we are still aching for some commercial. And I will say we have 2 commercial developments that are in the process. You know, one includes a Publix. So other than the food line that they've had there for years, now we're getting a Publix. And then we have another development that's going to be bringing commercial and residential in. So we're moving things along, but I'm from New York, so I'm hoping not to see this happen where you're building up and causing a lot of craziness. But, you know, there's only but so much land or so much you can do. But that's it for Roseville. Thank you.
I have one as well from Apex. Speaking of land and growth, Apex has taken our first foray into Chatham County. We've annexed and have some development out there. Only non-residential is what we're doing because we don't want to deal with this, you know, Chatham County schools and Chatham County courthouse for a lot of stuff. But we're excited to be in Chatham County, and hopefully they feel the same way. It should be a really great project, and I know some towns in North Carolina span multiple counties, but not a ton. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, I will wrap up when we finish.
Well, I could echo, I guess, some of the comments have been made. Garner is, we just had our retreat and discussed a number of items. We're going to have a challenging budget this year. We're working on a number of things. Got some nice grants recently for a couple parks that we've passed bond issues for, and excited about the grant that we received. Be doing a ribbon cutting in the morning with MD Logistics, which will put us sort of in the arena of pharma, life science. So we're excited about that as well. And Wake Med's foray into our area, the initial certificate of need has been approved to build and add 42 beds for a regular hospital there. And so that's going to go through an appeals process, of course. It'll take some more time. And then we're going to do a groundbreaking next week or week after for a VA clinic that will be on the edge of our town that will put a lot of our veterans, both in Wake County, Johnson County, and surrounding areas, a little closer by to some VA needs without having to travel over to our sister city in Durham. So that's another positive thing. And of course, we still are building and right many building projects are in the pipeline as our town continues to move along. I guess when I moved to Garner 30 some years ago, it was a town of less than 10,000, and we're now approaching 40,000. I think 36 or 37,000, I guess. So whole Wake County area is growing, and we expect and will continue to be part of that process and do our part.
Thank you. Thank you. And on our Zoom, Kathleen.
The only exciting news I have is Hillsborough is finally going to get fiber. We just announced Google Fiber is making its way. All the residents have been crying for this. When everybody else went fiber, we could just stand with our faces in the window. So it'll happen in the next year. And ironically, their competitor was talking about it ahead of time, but we couldn't say anything. But it's now out in the universe, and I've already mentioned Uproar, which is and you'll hear about it again. It's public art festival. So there's going to be 60 installations throughout Orange County and all 4 municipalities in Orange County. And it juried, and for the artist, what sets it apart, it's the first time something like this has been held in the state of North Carolina. And it's one of the few across the countries where we are providing stipends to all of the artists, in addition to offering cash prizes. And there will be a public vote for, the People's Choice also, but that will be this summer. So that continues to just build steam. And we just announced a lineup for Riverfest Music Festival coming, I believe I'll have to check, it's either April or May. So lot is happening.
Keep up. This is Steve Rao. Can I go? Because I have another meeting, but if I'm out of protocol, I'll leave early. I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
Okay, I apologize for that. Well, it's a pleasure to see everybody virtually. Hope I can come back in person. The biggest thing in Morrisville is we completed our $9 million federally funded Morrisville Carpenter Road project. So now Morrisville Carpenter Road's 4 lanes, divided median sidewalks. We put in about $3 million. And the town over the last decades put in about probably $50 million of our own money on state roads. So I want to really commend our staff and council for being committed to that, although I think we are concerned about DOT's funding situation, but it was a big win. And last week I hosted the Small Business Administration in Morrisville for a meeting to talk about small businesses, and really excited about that. And then the final thing is that I've been doing a smart city tour, started in Garner, talking to different local governments about how we had a lot of success with our smart cities program. And tomorrow we're hosting Secretary Jim Weaver on behalf of the governor to come in and learn about our technology progress in Morrisville. We're developing a mobile app and all kinds of things. So if anyone's interested, just reach out to me, and I'd love to come out to your town and talk about that. But come to Morrisville, and thanks, everybody. Thank you.
And anyone else?
I'd like to add something. Today, I participated in a diversity, equity, and inclusion conference put on by one of our nonprofits here, Let's Do It Together Foundation, which is an interesting name. But the thing that impressed me was that we talked about DEI from a standpoint of the benefits that it brings, the evidence-based comments on how changing leadership a little bit and opening yourself up to the positive aspects of DEI elevates everybody. And that's the concepts that that are being supported. The idea that companies become more profitable, we do better service in local government, et cetera, as we embrace some of these concepts. The other aspect of it that I think is so important is that we're changing over time. And the ability of local governments to reach out and really understand everybody in the community is important. And this kind of conference really brought us together and shared some positive ideas, opened up some options. And I think it just encourages us to think of servant leadership a little bit different. In other words, how can we go ahead and impress people that our companies can be better as we focus on the well-being of the individuals that are working for us, and their improvement obviously lifts the whole performance of the company. But the same thing is true in local government. As we reach out to individuals and become concerned about maybe some communities who are being left behind, then it promises to improve the overall lifestyle of everybody in the county. So I was just impressed by the way it all came together, the selection of people who made comments and presentations. And I'm encouraged that we're changing in the right direction. Thank you.
Oh my, thank you.
This is Jerry Medlin in beautiful downtown Benson.
Okay.
Honorable Chairman Freeman, you're invited to come to Benson anytime you want. Some expertise on affordable housing. They tell me you're an expert in that area.
Oh, boy. I would say it's about affordability more than it is affordable housing.
Benson just broke ground on a new Holiday Inn Express in Benson. That's our second hotel, which we needed very badly. The high interest rates are hurting our growth right at this moment, but we have a lot of things in the bag that we're going to pull out and really start seeing some growth that we can be proud of. And we appreciate the job you've done this year, Ms. Freeman.
Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing in Benson.
Hi, this is Susan Evans with Wake County. I just wanted to celebrate one thing along with Mayor Marshburn and Garner. As you all know, Wake County is struggling to figure out solutions for growth and have been for many years, and that includes housing, but it also includes transportation. So as part of the Wake Transit Plan that we put into place in 2017, we've been working on expanded bus service, and we have been working together with the city of Raleigh to open 4 bus rapid transit routes. The first one will go under construction this year, going from downtown Raleigh out to the east, past Wake Med Hospital. The second one will be from downtown Raleigh to Garner. And if you've never heard of bus rapid transit, let me just tell you that Joe Malazzo with the Regional Transportation Alliance has nicknamed it buses resembling trains. And it is buses that have, dedicated lanes in some instances, traffic light signal priority in other instances. In instances, they have a level boarding, step on and off really quickly, digital purchase of tickets. And so we're planning to build an east route, a southern route, a western route that will go from downtown Raleigh to Cary, and a northern route. But the southern route is the second one to go into construction soon, we hope. And we were notified a little over a week ago that the Federal Transit Administration has scored that project very highly. And they have said that they are recommending support for that project in the upcoming budget at the federal level to the tune of $77 to $85 million. That is really, really huge. It's not a done deal until the budget is passed, but every project gets scored on a number of metrics when you're trying to get federal transit money. And that project has just scored very well. And we're crossing our fingers that we'll get moving sooner than later on that bus that resembles a train going to Garner.
I love it.
It's great.
That is great.
Yep.
Never thought I'd say we want to be like Wake.
I volunteer to be an honorary conductor on that bus resembling a train. How's Thank you.
I'll share quickly if you don't mind. This is Joe Deloach here in Wendell. We had a budget retreat this past weekend. As you can imagine, with the growth that we have, we were there a fair amount of the day. We've identified approximately $200 million in capital projects that we're probably in need of over the next 10 years, I'd say. Growth continues to be a thing. We've got, mentioned it before, we got Wake Med coming. We've obviously got Wake Tech that's in progress. We just recently passed Wendell Commerce Center, which is a $350 million plus commercial project, should feature a grocery store component and potentially a hotel as well. So we're excited about that. We did also discuss bus transit. The micro transit program has been very successful here in Eastern Wake County. And we're looking to continue that for another year. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically an on-demand Uber type program that has been very successful here in Zebulon, Wendell, and Rollsville. So they might make a brief change to that for Rollsville to partner with Wake Forest, but we'll continue to partner with Zebulon moving forward. Congresswoman Ross was here last week. She brought us a big, nice $2 million check.
That's always nice.
That we'll be seeing here in the future. We've got a revitalization project going on. Carver community, Pleasant Grove community. It's historically been underserved here in Wendell. So we've got a pretty big project coming, federal, state, county, local funds as well. So that'll be here in the next few years, and it's real now for sure. And residential and commercial permits are still steady, so we've not really slowed down much. And actually had a meeting with our planning director yesterday, town manager, and it was interesting to hear that we have weekly applications for solar panels and electric car charging stations as well. So Eastern Wake County, we're making it happen here too. So we're busy.
That's great. I'm looking for anyone else. I know I'm being pretty informal about it.
You found one.
There we go with the cows. I'm coming to Johnston.
Chairman Freeman. Yeah, come on. If you're coming to Benson, yeah.
Johnston.
If you're coming
Been
on.
hearing about
Benson.
Johnston. I've been hearing about what's going on in Johnston County.
Yeah. So we similar issues. We are growing and planning as fast as we can to catch up on the growing part. We did have our strategic planning session. Other commissioners frown on me saying retreat, but it's a retreat. So we had that 2 days last week. Went very well. It was our second one in a long time. We had the first one last year, so we were better at it this time around. But a lot of issues that we're all facing with infrastructure, water, sewer. Where do we get all that from the population that we have, and then affordable housing that's coming up. And I know I talked with you, Madam Chair, sent you a text about the Senate Bill 317 that deals with workforce development housing and takes away some of the issues or the things that the counties and the towns are doing right now as far as planning, and in Johnston County for us not to have control over where development goes, and connections to sewer that is a precious resource is a tough thing for us to deal with. So we're reaching out to our folks in Raleigh to express our opposition to that. So I don't know how everybody else feels, but that's the way at least Johnston County government feels.
I think Durham is on concurrence. At least on the city side. I can't
We're
speak
right
for the
with
county.
you. We're with you. We're
Precious,
worried about the accessory dwelling because of precious water that we don't have.
Yes. And Just making sure that if there's anyone else that hasn't shared already, you have a chance.
I'll come through with Pinehurst here a little bit. We've got a lot going on here in Pinehurst, and if y'all haven't been down to Pinehurst, I welcome your visit. We are a National Historic Site, which is not a very common thing for lots of villages or towns, but we had a recent visit from the Department of Interior, recertified us in that, and got a lot of kudos from them, and that we're able to maintain the historic charm of our community, and we're working very hard to maintain that charm. Obviously, the growth that everybody talks about. We live in a great state, we live in a great region, and there's growth, and people want to come here, and we're managing that. We're working together with our symbiotic relationship here with other folks that have spoken, and we appreciate that. We have a transportation plan that we're trying to develop more, and that involves, yes, the regional area with different road access and things like that. We've also got local aspects, which certainly involve roads, they involve bike paths, they involve pedestrian paths, and of course, even golf carts. But we're working hard with that. We're also dealing with small area plans in different parts of our village to make sure that we're able to provide better guidance on the development and kind of development we want to maintain the charm in Pinehurst, yet also accommodate the growth that we're having. Whenever you say Pinehurst, people automatically think of golf, but there's a whole lot more than just golf. We actually have an area in our town, in the center portion of our town, that's over 100 acres that has racetracks on it, horse tracks, and we do harness racing. And the harness track itself is a winter training ground for harness racing that after the winter is over, they end up taking their horses and their harnesses up to a lot of the areas in the north, and they compete. But every year we have, for about 6 months, have them training down here. And in not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, we'll have our matinee races, which is a qualifying race for basically these young horses that are qualifying to compete up in the circuit, which is mainly in the north, with their harnesses. We're looking forward to that. But the historical aspect of horses and harness racing goes back to 1915 for Pinehurst. I did mention golf. We do have the U.S. Open coming here next year, and we're working hard to make sure that we provide a great venue and have a terrific Open, and certainly hope to bring a lot of prosperous aspects to the entire region. So that's what we have for Pinehurst.
I know that we can schedule this meeting to coincide with the US Open.
I may not be there.
They may not be there, yeah, I understand.
No, thank you. That's interesting. I appreciate you sharing that. I didn't think I understand. I'm gonna have to look up the harness racing, horse track racing. Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, thank you. Yes, definitely road trip. Me and Butch are gonna go visit.
Okay.
A lot of places.
I'd love to host you.
Yeah. I know. Okay. Back to around the region. This is getting exciting.
Okay.
Yeah. I did want to share, just make sure I take a moment to say that yesterday, with my work hat on, I attended the Rural Summit, and I can't say, like, it's amazing what's going on across this state right now in our rural communities. And I think that growth is a great opportunity, but it can choke out some of that, homegrownness. And I'm really prayerful that folks do maintain their historic integrity and in all of the growth, because it's just, I just don't want to see us mull over. All of the rural areas do not need to become cities, which is why we need to work in tandem and together to figure out how we all work together as a region to make sure that the urban supports are in place and our rural supports are in place in a way that makes us a great region, and builds our state. And thinking about it, as all of this conversation moves forward on Medicaid, I'm also mindful that that shortage we talked about months ago around workforce is going to show up. And what does that look like for our rural communities? And how can our urban centers be supportive in that? And so where we can, trying to figure out where those conversations live, but it's ringing up for me from some of this conversation around the region.
Those are some great comments. I totally agree with that. Let me add one more thing from Pinehurst that I should have mentioned before. We just did a ribbon cutting for a state-of-the-art cancer center at First Health Hospital here. And we've grown from a small local hospital to a community hospital, and now we're a regional hospital. And then the talent that we have attracted here in our medical community is tremendous. And if you haven't had a chance to see what a state-of-the-art cancer center looks like, you really ought to come down and take a look at this. And we're able to do a whole lot down here with what we have. But of course, we're still regional. So we still need the tertiary care hospitals of like UNC and Duke, which we send the more complex stuff. But there has been a lot of growth for us in our capabilities right here in the region. And we are now covering multiple counties with our regional capabilities in our health support.
I'm going to hope the derm is in there, because I can tell you that backlog of waiting can be definitely like a problem. It's a problem. But yeah, that's the kind of supports we need to make sure are clear across the region. And so that's helpful. I didn't know. I'm definitely coming to check it out. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. Anyone else sharing around the region? If not, I don't have any other business. Oh, sorry. We do have one other thing. That is the reminder that our April meeting is April 20th. Just in light of the North Carolina League of Municipalities annual conference that'll be occurring the fourth Wednesday. So just making sure everyone's aware, we will be in person and virtual at the same time. And look forward to seeing you all then. I'm just making sure I don't leave anything else. I did want to just make sure I let Jerry know while we were on the line that we should catch up, because if that Holiday Inn needs some support, I have another hat that I wear in the lending field.
There you go.
And we love coming to rural communities to support their small businesses.
Bring it on.
But yes, that is all I have, and we are